Thank you very much. Quick shot. Gentlemen, that spells the end of the group stages for G2, or not the end of the group stages, rather the end of the tournament, as they will not be able to advance to the quarterfinals, but a great start here for Rocks Tigers at the beginning of their day.
Yeah, it certainly was. I just want to hit on G2 a little bit because this game was there for the taking. I mean, they had opportunities to be able to win it, but you could just see a little bit of inexperience, a little bit of indecisiveness, and they weren't able to get it done. So you have to take your hats off to them. That was probably one of their better games. They set up nicely, but they just couldn't execute.
But a lot of people constantly ask, like, where did it go wrong for G2 in this tournament? And I think this game highlighted almost every single issue. We saw teleport communication not being on point. We saw in between the players' communication, especially in ganks, not being on point. They weren't playing as a unit, and in addition to that, there were small micro mistakes layered in between. This was not good enough. What fans could expect from G2, because in Europe they played much better than this. Even in scrims, allegedly, they were playing much better than this, but they couldn't translate it to the stage.
Right, but there was, that the beginning of the game unfolded in a way that made it look very good for G2. I think most people look and say, hey, great level 1. They get that flash out of Smeb. They capitalize on it with a gank. So things started to go correctly. So will you break it down for me? Where did things start to fall apart?
Yeah, I actually wanted to take a look at that first gank because I think it's actually a major mistake there from Rocks, what they need to fix as well. And this is based on the information that the flash is down. What you can see on the minimap is actually that both junglers started on the left side. And Trick has this information, so he is actually going for a very risky gank here in the top side. But I don't want to focus on the gank, I want to focus on what Peanut is doing on the Lee Sin. When your flash is blown on your top laner, either you defend them very early or use posture so that when he gets ganked, you are ready to take the entire enemy jungle on the right side. Because they knew Nidalee got a leash, they knew that happened. Peanut could have dominated Trick from the early moments on, and that was something I wanted to highlight here. This gank went well, but then this was the breaking point for G2.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. I mean, this is just miscommunication between the mid laner and the jungler. They don't go at the same time. They're not willing to burn some of the spells together. He's one auto attack away from falling down. The turret changes there really do ruin Nidalee's day, but that should have been a very clean execute and escape by both members if they had have gone simultaneously.
Yeah, I absolutely agree there. And it was a 1 HP left there on Kuro. Is very kind of unlucky, but at the same time, some execution errors and miscommunication between them. And what Crepo, you were talking about, the punish from Peanut, it looked like he tried to go help top lane. Is way too late. You go to red buff, you see that Nidalee doesn't have blue, you triple buff him.
So what Peanut was doing there, he went for the left side Scuttle Crab to maybe give some security for his top laner who could get ganked in theory. The problem was he's too late. Either you do that immediately, or you just posture on the right side of the map, say, if my top laner then gets ganked, I will go into the enemy jungle, take it away, play around bot side, take away his buff, so you kind of have a net neutral decision making. That's why I guess Smeb was playing so far up in the top lane too. I know it's a micro point, but it worries me for Rocks in the future of this tournament.
But it's also a situation where Scuttle Crab doesn't protect you against Nidalee.
Yeah, and it's also something you were talking about where that's a winning lane, but he already blew Flash, and naturally you're going to push up as Rumble against the Poppy. That's just the matchup and the way you play it. So it's a pressure lane that they're trying to use, but he's not playing to it early on. He has to go through his clear, and I mean, that's something that has happened to Rocks Tigers actually quite frequently now, is that Peanut, at the beginning of the game, it looks really bad. But then, that gif where like the dog's like, oh, just kidding, and it like stands back up. That's exactly what's happening with Rocks Tigers. Their early game on Peanut looks like he's making some bad decisions, but then immediately team fighting, they look really good.
You talk about team fighting and split-second decision-making from the Rocks Tigers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the play where Rocks Tigers took control of this game, brought to you by Acer.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing about this play is that no spear comes out before Trick pounces on. That means that the Lee Sin escapes, and then teleports are matched. And you have to either cancel this teleport and back away from the turret, or complete and fight.
Yeah, there's two mistakes here. One, the teleport should have likely been completed by Expect, but once it is not completed, there is ample time for G2 to communicate as a unit that they are in grave danger in the bot lane here, and they should be able to expect this from playmaking supports like Gorilla.
I see your two mistakes, and I raise you a third here. Perkz walks back to the mid lane from an unsafe route. He gets chunked out by Victor, and he has to forfeit that turret by backing. So no matter what, you're actually losing a turret in that situation from G2, even if the bot lane, you back off.
And once again, you look at this, and this is so close out of G2. I mean, one more skill shot comes through, the Lee Sin's dead, cancel teleport, perfect play because you can defend with 3 people underneath. And all of a sudden you're trading turrets. But one miscommunication, one little execution flaw, and you just lose everything at the same time. 2 turrets, 2 kills, it just goes horribly wrong.
The casters were talking about it. It looked like G2 was on pace to get the first 2 turrets, both in bot and mid, almost uncontested until that play happens.
Yeah, but at the same point, we have to praise like Rocks Tigers. They keep drafting these like at least mid-game spy compositions, somehow get through the early game, whether it's with a deficit or not. But then once they go off, like they fly away. They're on point. They're working as a unit. It's beautiful to see them see at least the layer the engages, combos into equalizers, the zone control from the Victor. Very well played by Rox.
It's actually just their target selection. I mean, look how many times Lee Sin got his man when he went into those team fights. That's very hard to do under pressure.
All right, well, let's take a look at the player of the game, Peanut. It's going to him because of a few catches early, got onto perks, as we talked about, and definitely helped be the deciding factor in this game.
Yeah, and one more time, I just want to talk about how he isolates the person he wants in the team fight, and he's able to kick him out from either underneath the team, underneath the turret. He is a fantastic team fighting jungler.
He had secured that. Baron also got out. But Crepo, I know you want to give an honorable mention to Gorilla and his support play on that Alistair.
Yeah, I think he had a really couple sweet combos with Flash. I mean, it looks easy. It's just all about pulling the trigger and then having your team follow up. Because with how quick Rox is following up, it means these are communicated. These are not just out of the blue, hey, these guys randomly flashing forward. The entire team is ready for these engages, and it seems like a well-oiled unit. Maybe it's hard to do against a team with better resistance than G2. But still, they're looking like a solid team.
That's a good start for Rox here today. That's going to do it for Game 1. Before we see the rematch between Albus Nox Luna and Counterlogic Gaming, watch the battle for our Galaxy unfold in Burning Bright, a new music video featuring the Star Guardians.